Alright, so here's my adventure for today. So I looked back and I noticed that the chain and the turnbuckle, which is what holds it down to the truck, on the other side was swinging straight and not hooked in because this was coming open. You can see this one's coming open a little bit. Not much, but a little. So it's from getting yanked on from uneven roads and stuff like that. So as I'm fixing it, I noticed that the entire passenger side undercarriage of my truck is covered in oil. So at first I think it's just getting kicked up from the road, crappy Texas roads, and that it's, you know, because it's all wet and it had just rained, so I thought maybe that's just what it was just getting kicked up. But I kept looking and I noticed that a bunch of my oil was all over the place. So, coming from underneath, what looked like underneath of my oil filter. So, I look closer and I notice that it looks like a piece of tape is caught up in the seal of the oil filter, and that's why it's leaking. And it's hard to tell where it's leaking from, if it's leaking, because there's oil all over the underside on the passenger side. So I take a look, and sure enough, it's barely hand tight, and there's basically like this, which is almost like a nylon tape that was wrapped around a tubing above it, caught in the seal, and basically didn't give it a good enough seal, and I'm hoping that that's all it was, leaking oil out. And so here I am at the auto parts store trying to fix this. Alright, so right at the end of this first part, I notice a ton of oil dumping out now. So I immediately shut the truck off, looking around, can't find oil leaking anywhere, don't know what to do, but I know it's pouring out now, and it's not from the filter seal. So I decide, alright, start it back up, maybe I'll be able to see where it's coming out of. Yeah, the pressure now by the sealed filter, and probably me using the wrench for the filter, which the guy at the auto parts store recommended, but he was cool as hell. The teeth on it, I think, punctured the can, and so it started spraying out of the filter. Thankfully I noticed that, went in, got a new filter, and all set. Refilled up. I am at 4 quarts of oil plus a quart of Lucas. My truck takes 6 quarts of oil. So no idea how much was lost sitting here plus on the road. But I think I'm all set. It looks like my oil pressure is back to normal, hopefully. Gonna keep an eye on it. I think I'll be good to go. So, thanks to the guys at O'Reilly Auto Parts here in Houston, Texas. Good looking out. Glad they were open. Homie stayed here for me while I fixed all this. Even held the flashlight. Guy was... Yep. Mostly my oil. I started